Deep dives and blue skies. Welcome back to Talking Blue with Nick, the best Dodgers analytical podcast that you can find. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Talking Blue, the best Dodgers analytical podcast that you can find. It should be going well because the Dodgers just swept the Marlins. Game 3 just ended about 30 minutes ago. We got the candle going. The vibes are high. Dodgers have won 5 in a row. They finish out the month of March/April, first month of the season, 21-10, sole possession of first place in the National League West, tied for the most wins in baseball. Vibes are very good. Let's get into the series. Before we do that, you can get this podcast on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you prefer to watch. Follow us on social media at Talkin' Blue Pod. We got TikToks. We got Instagram Reels. We have information on X. You can follow my personal X at Talking Blue Nick. You can follow us on Reddit as well at competitive-week8715. Love talking to the fans on Reddit. I'll be posting more stuff on there. Tyler Glasnow, before this series, went on the 15-day IL. Dave Roberts said he'll be shut down for 10 to 14 days, so basically 2 weeks, and then he'll be reevaluated. So don't really love to hear that. If he's being shut down, that means he needs to completely rest, not do anything. Usually being shut down completely doesn't work very often. I'm not saying he needs any kind of surgery or anything, but shutting it down for 2 weeks and then throwing again. But it is a shoulder injury. Shoulders, it's much more common for your shoulder to be sore and then heal versus your elbow. Usually if there's elbow pain, that can be a little bit scarier than shoulder pain. So like I said, there is some hope there. Blake Trinan, who's been on the IL, hasn't been cleared to throw yet. Blake's now received an injection, and he's been treating his shoulder, which has inflammation. And then the only other thing is Tommy Edman in one of these games tweaked his ankle a little bit and did not play in Game 3, so hopefully he's fine for the Atlanta series. So let's get right into the series. Game 1, April 28th. This was on Monday. Dustin May versus Edward Cabrera, young right-hander, 2 sinker ballers. We talked about it on the preview series. So let's get right into that. In the bottom of the first inning, the Dodgers get on the board. An RBI single from Freddie Freeman brings in Shohei. Dodgers go up 1-0. Later on, Mookie singles and a ground ball to left field. That brings in Ohtani as well. So Dodgers now up 2-0. Later on, Miguel Rojas, who played really well in this game, he doubles into left field to put the Dodgers up 3-0. So early on, Dodgers are hitting Cabrera pretty well, who was showing some pretty electric stuff. Then Teoscar Hernandez homers to left field, another home run for Teoscar. This was a 2-run homer, put the Dodgers up 5-0. So through 5 innings, Dodgers are up 5-0. Teoscar's continuing to rake. But then later on, Dustin May is back out for the 6th inning. Eric Wagaman singles into left field, which brings in Jesus Sanchez, makes it a 5-1 game. Eventually, Anthony Bondo would come in to replace Dustin May. He gives up a grand slam to Dane Myers to tie the game. So out of nowhere, 5-0 lead is evaporated. It's now tied 5-5. All the way ahead to extra innings in the 10th inning. Of course, the ghost runner rule. Marlins get the go-ahead run over to third base. With 2 outs, Jesus Sanchez off of Kirby Yates doubles into right field to put the Marlins up 6-5. So immediately the Dodgers are in danger of losing a game that they were winning 5-0. In the 10th inning, Andy Baez would walk. Kike then gets down a sack a bunt, which is nice. You don't see that a lot nowadays. Tommy Edman, who didn't start in the game, pinch hits, singles to right field, brings in 2 runs, and the Dodgers win the game. A walk-off single from Tommy Edman. Like I said, it was not a pinch hit. He actually pinch hit earlier in the game had 2 at bats. This was his second at bat. So Edman comes off the bench and plays a huge role. Dodgers wins. Final score 7-6. Dustin May for 5.1, Anthony Bonda for 1.2, Evan Phillips for 1, Tanner Scott for 1, Kirby Yates for 1. We'll talk about Dustin May. Started out as a pretty good performance for Dustin May. Did walk a couple batters, and that eventually led to some traffic, and obviously gave up the 3 earned runs before he came out of the game. Throws 83 pitches. Like I said, did pitch into the 6th inning, but wasn't able to make out of the 6th inning. Only had 7 whiffs in the game, so last 2 outings, Dustin May does not have as many swings and misses as he did in that one really good start against the Rockies. He's definitely struggled his last 2 starts, but both in different ways. Against the Cubs, he had a lot of contact that led to bloopers and stuff like that, and then eventually left some balls over the plate that got hammered, and it led to a pretty disastrous start. This game against the Marlins, there was a lot of hard contact. The Marlins were getting a little bit unlucky, barreling up some balls, but Dustin May was managing through all of that, and it was leading to a pretty decent start. Final line, 5.1, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. So not much to say from Dustin May. He threw some really nasty sweepers in this game like he always will, and he has throughout the season so far. Continued to throw more sweepers than fastballs. He threw 34 sweepers, 31 sinkers, 17 four-seamers, and then only 1 cutter. His four-seamer also continues to get some really good whiff numbers. So Dustin May, earlier in the year, I posted some of this on Reddit. He still has the best sweeper in baseball in terms of average spin rate. His sinker is in the top 10 as well as his cutter. So he's got a lot of pitches that are spinning a lot. His two-seamer is in the top 20 in terms of horizontal movement. So a bunch of pitches that are moving all over the place. And again, he hasn't been getting hit too hard, but the last 2 starts just struggled a little bit with his command, a little bit of hard contact, but he's continuing to pitch really good. All his pitches look really good. So just a performance from Dustin May. Not much to say there. But the Dodgers offense, again, showed a lot in this game. Unfortunate that the bullpen kind of let it up in the end, but Dodgers did enough to win in the end. Of course, Oscar Hernandez obviously hit that home run, so he just continues to stay red hot. Muncy did have 2 hits in this game, so that's nice to see. We'll talk about him a little bit later with some of his hits. And then Miguel Rojas, credit to Miguel Rojas, gets the start at second base, 3 hits, as well as an RBI. Talked about that. So that's really nice that he came off the bench and performed well. Like a lot of traffic, 7 walks in the game, some hits with runners in scoring position. So the Dodgers bats showed up in this game, and it worked out really well. So not really any breakdowns, not much to talk about this game. Just a nice comeback win. Initially gave up the lead, but came back to win. So let's go ahead and go to Game 2. We found out that Jack Dreyer gets the start, so a little bit of a opener bullpen game. Eventually, Matt Sauer would get the bulk of the innings. Jack Dreyer versus Sandy Alcantara. This game was on Tuesday, April 29th. So let's talk about that. In the first inning, Dane Myers gets the Marlins on the board. So after hitting the grand slam, he singles into left field to bring in Xavier Edwards, so they go up 1-0. But then in the bottom of the first inning, Shohei Ohtani leading up. First pitch from Alcantara gets sent into the right field bullpen, a missile off the bat of Ohtani. I thought it was obvious that he was going to go deep in this series because he had been heating up recently. So Dodgers tie it up. Then Teoscar Hernandez, he comes up and doubles, brings in Freddie Freeman. Dodgers go up 2-1. Then Tommy Edman hits a sac fly to make it 3-1 Dodgers. Then we'll go ahead to the second inning. Another Teoscar Hernandez double makes it 4-1 Dodgers. Eventually, Andy Paz would come up and single as well, 5-1 Dodgers. Then Mookie Betts hits a single to bring in 2 more runs. That was really good to see as well. Got jammed a little bit, but still nice to see because Mookie's been struggling a little bit. Later on in the 6th inning, Will Smith would double off the right field wall. That makes it 9-1 Dodgers. Tommy Edman, another double, 11-1. Later on, the Marlins would make it 11-2. They would tally on, but another hit for Teoscar makes it 12-2. Then Andy Pages, another home run. This was off a position player, but they all count the same. His 6th home run makes it 13-2 Dodgers. Miguel Rojas would single, then another Teoscar single. So they win by a lot. 15-2 is the final score. Jack Dreyer for 2. Matt Sauer goes 5 innings. He gets the win and the bulk of the innings in this game. Luis Garcia for 1. And then, of course, Kike Hernandez pitches 1 inning, doesn't allow an earned run. So a really good game that the Dodgers didn't have to use any key bullpen guys. So a lot of guys get nice and rested. Dodgers have 18 hits in this game. Like I said, score 15 runs. Shohei hits a home run. So a nice takeaway from this game is that they scored all these runs on a lot of hits and only 1 home run in the game. So it wasn't, multiple 3-run homers or something like that. Just the 1 home run, just a lot of hits. The Dodgers had 8 walks in this game, only had 5 strikeouts. So they really brought the bats out for this game as well. I obviously led off the game with the home run. Mookie Betts had 2 hits in this game as well as 2 RBIs. Kike comes off the bench and gets a hit. Freddie Freeman, 2 hits. We'll talk about Freddie in a little bit. Miguel Rojas gets his 4th hit of the series coming off the bench. Teoscar Hernandez, 4 hits in this game, 4 RBIs. He's just absolutely on fire right now. Will Smith, 2 more hits, 2 more RBIs for him. Muncy, unfortunately, doesn't get a hit in this game. But Tommy Edman gets a hit. And then Andy Pages, 3 more hits. So Pages just continues to rack up the hits, average shooting up, OPS shooting up. So one of the best offensive games of the year so far for the Dodgers. Like I said, 18 hits. So one of those fun games to watch. Not if you're a Marlins fan, but definitely if you're a Dodgers fan. So again, not too much to talk about, just a bunch of credit to the Dodgers lineup. Nothing to complain about when the Dodgers score 15 runs. So, super fun game to watch. Like I said, what is the best part is that it wasn't a game that they were home run reliant. A bunch of hits, men in scoring position cashing in. So, let's go ahead and go to Game 3, where there was some more stuff to talk about. Game 3, April 30th. It was today, at the time of this recording, of course. Tony Gonsolin versus Cal Quantrill. Tony Gonsolin makes his first start since 2023. Quickly, if you don't know much about Tony Gonsolin was a part of that 2019 rookie group: Alex Verdugo, Will Smith, Dustin May, Edwin Rios, Gavin Lux, a lot of those guys. Quickly became a very reliable pitcher for the Dodgers. Up in 2019, pitched in the COVID year in 2020, 2021. 2022 was his best year, had an ERA of 2.14. Then at the end of 2022, started to have some elbow stuff. 2023, battled through being a little bit nicked up, and then eventually went down with the Tommy John, of course, and struggled that year. So finally comes back to make his season debut. Second inning, Max Muncy hits his first home run of the year. Finally, Max Muncy gets on the board with a home run. Picked him earlier in the series to go deep, but it happened in this game, so no points for me there. But we'll get to some more home run predictions. Dodgers go up 1-0 later in the third inning. Betts, another RBI hit, brings in 2 runs, 3-0 Dodgers. Andy Paz would then single again, 4-0 Dodgers. In the fourth inning, Kyle Stowers would make things interesting. He hits a 2-run homer to make it now 4-2. Then later on in the sixth inning, Kyle Stowers would then double, also off of Tony Gonsolin. So 3 earned runs against Tony Gonsolin. He would get through the sixth inning, though. Later in the sixth inning, this is where my predictions come to fruition. I picked Mookie and Freddie for this game, so of course they hit right after each other. So Mookie triples off the left center field wall. Got my hopes up. I was listening to it on the radio. Ball hits off the wall. So Dodgers go up 6-3. Then Freddie Freeman comes up and homers to right field. So there is one of my predictions. So I continue my streak of getting a home run right in each series. So Dodgers go up 8-3 later on. Kike would single to make it 9-3. Then once more, Teoscar Hernandez hits a ground rule double, 11-3 Dodgers. Kike would then single again to make it 12-3. Marlins would tack on some runs later on in the ninth. Kyle Stowers hits his second home run of the game. And then a bases clearing double from Liam Hicks would make it 12-7. But the Dodgers finally put the game away. They win 12-7. Tony Gonsolin gets the win. Tony Gonsolin pitched 6 innings. Alex Vesia for 1, Banda for 1. And then Gomez came back and pitched 1 inning. So Tony Gonsolin gets the win in his first game since 2023. I'll give his final line. 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 0 walks, and 9 strikeouts. That is the interesting part. No walks, 9 strikeouts. So we're going to break down Tony Gonsolin now. He threw 77 pitches and was pounding the zone. 77 pitches, 58 strikes. So obviously that helps with the no walks. Like I said, pounded the zone. So Tony Gonsolin had 17 whiffs in the game and 9 strikeouts. That is really good to see. Tony Gonsolin throughout his career, never been a huge swing and miss guy. So I don't necessarily think this will continue, that he'll be racking up a bunch of strikeouts. But it's good to see him come back right away, and all 4 of his pitches look really good. So Tony Gonsolin throughout his career has always pretty much been a 4-pitch mix guy. His best pitch has always been his splitter, so another splitter guy you can add to the list of Dodgers pitchers. He has always thrown 4-seamer, splitter, slider, curveball. And at times his slider's been really elite, his curveball's been good. Fastball has always been a little up and down. Sometimes it's been hit around. And then the splitter's always been very good. So he's always gotten some pretty decent chase because of the splitter and the slider that he throws. Gonsolin throughout his career has never had a K rate higher than 27. So his rookie year, 22% K rate, 26% in 2020, 2021, 27. 2022 was 23%. That was his best season. And then 2023 was 18%. His whiff percentage throughout his career, highest whiff percentage he's had in his career is 29.9, so just under 30%. That was in 2021. And obviously in this game, he had a 40% whiff rate. Again, I don't think that will continue, but it would be interesting to see if Tony Gonsolin could have a whiff rate in the 30s and could rack up a little bit more strikeouts. His velocity was good, which was also really good to see. He averaged 92.6, but did max out at 95, and that was later in the game. He hit 95 a couple times. Tony Gonsolin, his velocity, it's kind of weird, but when he first came up, he did throw in the mid-90s, averaged around 95, and then there were times where he would get up to 96, 97, but then quickly around 2022, when he ironically became really good and had one of his better years, his velocity did begin to dip, and he did eventually go down in 2022 in August with elbow pain, elbow tendonitis, whatever you want to call it. 2023 was pitched really bad, and I wonder if now that he's had the Tommy John surgery and he's got his elbow fixed up, if his velocity will kind of tick back up to what it was earlier in his career. I don't think he's ever going to get back to like touching 96, 97, 98, but like it'd be cool to see him average around 93 and regularly touch 94, 95, because before he went down with injury, he wasn't really throwing that hard. His rookie year, he averaged 93.6. 2020, he averaged 95.1. Then in 2021, it was down to 93.8. 2022, which was his best year, 93.1. But then 2023, the last year he pitched, it was down to 92.4. So he averaged about the same in this game, but like I said, he did get up to 95 multiple times. All a really good return from Tony Gonsolin, especially when you consider that he had a lot of swing and miss on all of his pitches. He had 4 whiffs on the 4-seamer, 6 were on the slider, 5 were on that splitter, and then 2 were on the curveball. So really good stuff from Tony Gonsolin. And it would be really nice with some of the Dodgers injuries, a lot of the guys that have gone down recently, if the Dodgers could just add someone to kind of be a 4th, 5th starter, and he could give them some good stuff. So really happy to see Tony Gonsolin back. He was pounding the zone, getting swings and misses, so that's really nice. Talk about Freddie Freeman. I just wanted to note him. He, of course, went deep in this game. Wanted to give his numbers. He's hitting .319 with a .407 on base, a .638 slug, and a 1,045 OPS. His OPS is over 1,000. Slugging percentage was .476 in 2024. Right now it's at .638. So 98th percentile in expected WOBA, expected batting average, expected slug. 93rd percentile in average exit velocity. He's in the 96th percentile in squared up rate, 76th percentile in K rate, 81st percentile in walk rate. He's playing well defensively, so he's just off to a really good start. Started off the year with the ankle. Obviously, that happened last year, but he was a little nicked up to start the season. And right now, he's off to a better start than he had last year. And something I just wanted to note about Freddie Freeman that's really cool. So Freddie Freeman, of course, was already a Hall of Fame player before he came to the Dodgers, of course. Played a long time with the Braves, 11 years. Before he came to the Dodgers, he was already one of the best hitters in the game. And people might not know this, but his first few years with the Dodgers were some of the best in his career. Best years in terms of OPS plus with the Atlanta Braves. Now, his highest was 2020, the year he won the MVP, which was a 187 OPS plus. Of course, that was 60 games. So other than the 2020 season, in 2016 and 2017, he had an OPS plus of 157 and 155. His first 2 years with the Dodgers, an OPS plus of 156 and then 163. Last year, it was 143. Right now, it's at 182. So he's actually been statistically a little bit better offensively with the Dodgers. Now, he doesn't hit for a ton of home runs, of course. The most he's ever hit in a season in his career is 38. That was in 2019. And in 2022, his first year with the Dodgers, he hit 21. 2023, he hit 29. And then last year, he hit 22. Right now, he has 5. So his hard hit rate has gone up a little bit, 41.8 in 2024. Right now, it's at 43.4. His average exit velocity in 2024 was 89.3. Right now, it's 93.5. His barrel percentage was 9.1 in 2024. Right now, it's at 13.2. Freddie Freeman early in the year is hitting for a little bit more power, and a reason why is because he's pulling the ball more. So in 2024, he had a pull percentage of 34.2, and that's usually where he's at throughout his career. Right now in 2025, he has a pull percentage of 41.5. He's also hitting the ball in the air more. In 2024, 31.1%, which is actually higher than what he's been at a lot of his career. He's been in the high 20s. Right now, it's at 39.6. So he's hitting the ball in the air nearly 40% of the time, and he's pulling the ball over 40% of the time. That's leading to more power, and it's noticeable in the games that he's pulling the ball more often. But he hasn't lost the batting average and the ability to hit the ball to all fields. Like I said, he's hitting .319. A little bit more aggressive this year. In 2024, he swung at the first pitch 36.7% of the time. Right now, it's at 43.4. A little bit more aggressive this year. He's pulling the ball more, and he's hitting it in the air more often, and that's leading to a lot of the power numbers that we're seeing. Like I said, he had an incredible year in 2024, had an 854 OPS. Right now, it's at 1,045. He had a slugging percentage of .476. Right now, it's .638. So he's hitting for more power, pulling the ball more, and it's leading to some crazy numbers. And Freddie Freeman, who was already a Hall of Famer with the Braves, somehow has gotten better since he's put a Dodgers uniform on. Just had an incredible Dodger career so far, and it's going to be really interesting when he retires someday. You would have always thought he'll go into the Hall of Fame as a Brave, and now I feel like with what he's done as a Dodger, having some of his best years, he might go into the Hall of Fame as a Brave and a Dodger. Sometimes you see guys go in as both, and he's going to be remembered as both now. He first came over to the Dodgers. Of course, he didn't think he was going to play bad or anything like that, but when he first came over, he was always a Brave, but he was just wearing a Dodgers jersey. It's not like that anymore. You view him as a Dodger. Of course, it's been this way for a few years now, but with the way he's played the way he's kind of gotten better and the iconic moments he's had, he might go into the Hall of Fame with both hats. So great stuff. So, and also shout out to Freddie for hitting that home run for me to continue my streak. So in 4 preview series pods I've made, I've gotten 4. I haven't missed one yet. So really great 3-game series. Dodgers took care of the Marlins like they needed to, and the best part was that the bats showed up. Max Muncy showed a little bit of improvement. Mookie Betts got some hits, which was really nice to see. Teoscar and Paz just continue to rake. Freddie Freeman continues to rake. Tommy Edman didn't do as much, but he did actually have some hits. Obviously had the walk-off. Miguel Rojas showed up, and as well as Kike Hernandez. So the Dodgers next will play the Braves this weekend in Atlanta. Braves, of course, have had a slow start to the year, so we're going to have a breakout. We're going to have a preview pod coming out about them. And also look out for a first month recap pod I might do as well, recapping March and April, which, of course, gets combined into 1 month. So, great series from the Dodgers. The bats showed up. A lot of the offensive numbers have ticked up. So that's going to wrap up episode 17 of Talking Blue. Like I said, you can get this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on all social media at Talking Blue Pod, TikTok, X, Instagram. Going to have a bunch of shorts coming out. Follow us on Reddit at competitive-week8715. Going to have some more stuff coming out there. Follow me at Talking Blue Nick on X. And that's going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you guys at the preview series between the Dodgers and the Braves this weekend.